Alright, hello everybody. If things are working properly, you should be able to both see and hear me. So those that are currently watching, let me know please if you can. There is, I'm afraid, something of a time delay on here because the way that I've got everything set up, but we're just going to have to work with it. And I should probably turn that off, shouldn't I? Excellent, loud and clear, fantastic. All right, people are coming in. So, hello everyone, good evening. It's still a couple of minutes before we start officially. Wow, numbers of people going up quite rapidly. So, tonight's session is really quite an informal one. Really, bit of a Q&A, bit of a discussion with everyone. I suppose I should start people off with something really to sort of talk amongst yourselves while everyone appears. Me and my good buddy Michael were just talking about the mythical £100,000 three-car perfect garage, and we've been struggling as to what the perfect combo is. For me, I'd take my old 130i back at roughly £5,000. Then I'd probably add something like a Ferrari for like 65,000, which leaves me with about 30,000 to spend on something else. And it's the 30,000 on something else that I'm kind of struggling with. I don't know whether I'd have a 911 because it's not really super practical, but then it's nowhere near as sporty as a Ferrari either. I could have an Aston Martin, I suppose, but then again, same problem. Not really sure. Little bit stuck. Drove a Maserati not too long ago that I really quite liked. So that was very enjoyable. So there's a lot of cars out there, and the problem is you start looking at the car market and then you realise how some cars are still crazy money, some cars are just, some cars are actually quite reasonable. Okay, ludicrous fool. Okay, so how much is £100,000 when converted to US dollars? Let's call it $140,000. That's not exactly what it translates as. Scott says, "Do I like football?" No, I'm really sorry. I don't. I've never really been a football fan. I used to go when I was a kid, but not sort of loving it. Oh, okay. Wheelers Wheels, 1 Series, 360, and Defender. That would be a good combo. I was thinking about getting a Range Rover in there as the kind of all-round practical car because I love my time with the Range Rover, but I wasn't sure whether 30,000 would get me a Range Rover that I'd want to live with. Wasn't sure. So, yeah, that was a little bit tricky. Tom asks, when 12Cs hit around 30,000, I don't know when that'll happen, if that'll happen. Do you think they're going to be ratted out? Do people do the sort of rat look stuff? I'm not sure. I'm not sure McLaren would ever suit a rat look, but then people do it with all sorts of cars. Yes, I am well overdue a haircut, and for obvious reasons, I don't think I'm going to be having one for quite a while. Neil asks, do I do my own maintenance on my cars? No, not really. I do the basic topping up of fluids and all that kind of jazz, but I don't. Couple of reasons for that. The main one is that my driveway is completely unsuitable because it's a sort of reasonable angle, so it's not the easiest thing to sort of prop a car up on. And I'm just not very good at it. Plus, I don't really have the time. I'm generally out filming, doing all sorts of stuff. So yeah, no, I don't. I really don't. Somebody posits, would the Dodge Viper come back with a DCT? Would I like it? I don't think that would. I'm not sure that's part of really the Viper thing. Vipers are best with a manual, and there is a Viper video coming out in a couple of weeks, so people are going to be able to see some Viper content. Okay, what else we got up here? My wife just bought an AMG GTC. The only AMG GT that I've driven is the GTR, which was incredibly fast. I drove it at Millbrook at the Proving Grounds. I didn't really get to test it properly. I know that because we were doing the high-speed sort of bowl thing, so all you're really doing is sort of going onto a motorway, going kind of fast, then coming back. It was very quick. Felt quicker than the numbers would suggest. Very stiff. but I didn't really get to know much about it. So I'm really looking forward to having another go of an AMG GT at some point in the near future. So that I hope I can do. Callum, CR Classics asked me best value for money Lotus on the market at the moment, classic and modern. Esprit seem to have gotten a little bit more reasonable in price recently. They went up, they dropped back down again a little bit. Have you won a classic Lotus? The Stevens Esprit, like 89, 90 kind of cars, never really commanded big money. So I think those are a pretty good bargain. In terms of the modern Lotus, I mean, an early Evora 400, about 50 grand. It's a lot of car. It's a lot of car for the money. Did I sell the GT4? No, I haven't sold the GT4. The GT4 is off being restored. There was a video on that, and it's probably taken a little bit longer. Peter McKenzie, yes, post your questions on there, because what I'm doing is, as I'm talking to you all, I have the chat up here, so I'm reading it as it comes through. Another suggestion. So we started this off, for those that just joined, we started this off with a 100k garage question. 3 cars, £100,000. What would you put in your garage? I had 981 GT4, Cayman, BMW 335D, and a track day toy. Yeah, not bad. Not sure how much budget you'd have left for a track day toy, but I suppose you get a clear 182 or something like that in there. Easy. 997 Turbo, Lotus Exige, and then a BMW E65 series for a daily. That's also not a bad shout. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, the 997 Turbo. Yeah. I'm not sure how decent an E60 you'd get, but not a bad shout. Have I driven an Integra DC2 or DC5? No, I have been offered DC2s or DC5s several times, and then things happen, and then it doesn't happen. So, yeah, I really, really desperately want to, obviously, because they're an iconic performance car, massively significant Honda. Honda UK had a DC2, which then got written off. They don't and won't have a DC5 because they don't have cars that weren't sold in the UK. Jag XFR. Elliot said about Jag XFR, and he is quite right. For £20,000, they are a lot of car for the money. A hell of a lot. Post lockdown, would I organise a car meet for my subscribers? I've thought about it quite a bit. I was considering doing a sort of 100k meet, because I know roughly when the 100k is supposed to happen. But at the minute, I have, you guys can sort of see a little bit of it up here. I have a list of must be 30 cars minimum. Actually, there's a lot more on there. It's probably double that I need to film, that I should be filming right about now. So as soon as I possibly can, I need to just get out there filming. And I'm probably going to be filming solid, like not a single day off for 2 months, something like that. So I just don't know if I'm going to be able to have the time to organise anything social, plus the venue I would have had. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. More suggestions here for the three car dream £100,000 garage. E63 M6, Citroen SM, and Alfa Bertoni Coupe. Interesting trio, very interesting there. Yeah, like that. 182 Trophy, and Ariel Atom, and a Lotus Carlton. Not bad. Ferrari 355, X350 Generation XJR, and a Mini Cooper S. I've also got a Mini Cooper video coming out soon. What's my opinion on an old 996 Cabriolet sub 12 grand? Honestly, I don't like 911 convertibles. I would just rather, for 12 grand, I'd go and get a Boxster. I really would. Because for 12 grand, you're going to get an infinitely better car than you would spending the same money in a 911. It's as simple as that. I just don't think they look right. Early Aston Martin DB9s, 25 grand, yay or nay, asks Kevin. I really like the DB9. If you can get one that's sorted, get one that's got a good history, looks clean, looks tidy, see if you can swing a warranty, or something like that, then yeah, I would really be tempted by one, because they are a lot of car for the money, and they are lovely things. That engine is amazing, and if they've been looked after, they are pretty good. And the auto gearbox as well doesn't tend to throw up the bills that the speed shift box, or sport shift, or whatever they call it, speed shift, I can never remember, on the Vantage. Elliot wants to know, do I make my living off YouTube, or do I do external video work? Yeah, my main income is YouTube. I do still do the odd bit of film camera work, but it's like a bonus thing. It's not very frequent that I do it. Do I see myself making more Lotus videos soon? Yes, I would love to make more Lotus videos if only Lotus would let me. But yeah, it's obviously winter's not a great time to do Lotus content. I was hoping to do some more stuff this month. Again, can't do that. But yeah, so I always love driving Lotus. There's still a lot of Lotus that I haven't done. I was supposed to be doing a review of an Elan with Callum from CI Classics, so that should have been happening right about now. But yeah, there's loads of stuff that got cancelled, unfortunately. Robler's got a pair of interesting Italians. Maserati Ghibli, Alfa 156 GTA, and Lancia Delta Integrale HF for the Dream 100k 3-car garage. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Not so sure. Oh wow, someone has just sent me 10 quid. I'm still new to this whole super chat thing towards lockdown supplies. Thank you very much. That's going to go on Pepsi Max and toilet roll and things like that, which I've got hay fever, as you might be able to tell. So I'm really sorry if I don't sound the best, but yeah, it's not great. But oh, cheers! That's wow. I'm left a bit speechless there. I really am. Can you keep the wheel count the same and have 6 motorbikes? Well, I suppose you could. I mean, what else we got? Okay, Lotus Exige S, 435D convertible, and Tesla Model S. Not bad, not bad. Matthew asks, have I got a good lineup for my Porsche series, or am I after more variants? Yeah, I could always do with more cars. See, look at this. Educational as well. Wash my hands and all that jazz. Sorry about this, everyone. Yes, I would always love some more Porsche cars. In particular, I would like some more GT cars, turbos, modified cars, and air-cooled cars. I've got 996 and 997 normal cars very well covered. It's the older stuff and the more unusual stuff and obviously the non-911, the transaxle cars. Still haven't done a Panamera. I still haven't done a Cayenne. That kind of stuff. So that I really could do with a few more of. Andy UK 911 asked about speeding during my lockdown. Any thoughts on a solution? I think common sense needs to be applied. I see a lot of headlines, a lot of sensationalist headlines. I mean, there was one the other day with the police made a headline of man does 150 mile an hour on deserted motorway, and it's like, yeah, who's he posing a risk to? I mean, I did 174 mile an hour on the motorway in Germany with the RS6. So I happily say that I've done that because it was completely legal at the time, and I think they should have serious words with these people because clearly that is taking the mickey. I had to go out today, and I did see a speed camera van in the middle of a village, which I think is fine in the village. Yeah, fine. I also saw, bearing in mind this is not over much distance, I saw a 918 Spider just out for a drive in the middle of my local town, a 918 Spider. And then the next town over was an Aventador drop top as well, which is crazy. So, what do I think of the Bertoni design Ferrari 308 GT4? Horrendous. There are a lot of Ferraris out there that I really don't like, that I think were misses, and that is one of them. Really, I kind of like the 512. The 512 I actually prefer looks-wise compared to the Testarossa. Never really been a big fan of the looks of the Testarossa. Sacrilege, I know, but will I review another MR2 Turbo? Yes, I might. Yes, I might. Simple as that. Okay, what do we got here? Can I track down a Cayenne GTS with a manual transmission? Did they make a Cayenne GTS with a manual in it? I'd be surprised. I would be absolutely surprised. What do I think about Ford not making a Mark IV Focus RS? Not surprising. Bit of a disappointment, but not surprising. Another thing that I haven't ever driven is either the Mark 1 or the Mark 2 RS or the Mark 2 ST. Never driven one. Just never happened. I guess maybe that's not my audience and not Mark II ST or RS drivers. I don't know. Couldn't say. I'd love to. What do I think of the brand Roof? Can I review a Roof Yellowbird? Yeah, if someone can find me one. I mean, I absolutely love when people come to me with requests for cars to review. But unless they actually have that car, I mean, when I did the XJ220, the number of people asking me if I could review an EB110, and having got the XJ220 was just a sort of crazy thing that I just never expected to happen to me anyway. So I love people asking me for stuff that I can review, but the reality is that I can only review what I can get my hands on. That being said, I have over here, just out of shot, a calendar of the videos that are still yet to come out, stuff that I have already shot, and that's amazing. And then over here, I've got the list of things to still shoot. So I'll give you some highlights. I'll give you some highlights of here without spoiling too much, because I hate to say things are happening when they haven't already. Stuff like an Alfa Romeo 155. That's a pretty cool car. I'm going to do a Brera again. Citroen C6 as an example. Wow. €20. Blimey. I'm not sure I can carry that. Oh, you people are being exceedingly generous tonight. I am not. What do I do? I'll yeah. Cheers. This is Pepsi Bags. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's amazing. To Animal Cole 1 and to Andrew Boma. All right, Andrew, you want some more unusual cars? Well, coming up, I'll see if any of you can guess, all right? I have done a review of a car which I have been trying to get a hold of for a while. I was supposed to film one 4 years ago, and I filmed the review a little while back. It's going to come out in May. And I think it's actually the first time anyone has reviewed one of these cars on the road in a video, ever. It's a recent car and it's British. So I'll let you have a guess as to what that is. Wayne says he has a Mark 1 Focus RS. Would I like to have a go? Yes, I do. I think the Mark 1 Ford Focus RS, you know what, I didn't like it when it came out at all, because I'm just not a big fan of hot hatchbacks, but I think they've aged really well. They look fantastic. Really cool cars, and guaranteed future classic, I personally think. So I'm just scrolling back up through, because like I said, there is quite a delay here, so I'm just having a look at some of the other comments that need asking. Oh yeah, but rare cars and things. I've got a really cool Porsche 964. There's some TVRs. There's more TVRs to come. And yeah, some unusual Porsches, some more normal stuff. There's a few people that have car collections, so I'm going to go film like bunches of cars at the same time, which is pretty amazing. From my good friend for Pirites. Thank you. I'm running low. Oh, now that is a good question. Wayne, I don't know how to drop you a PM. So this is my email address, which anyone's welcome to email me on if they happen to have a car. Most iconic movie featured car. That is, see, because it tells you a lot about what sort of films a person would watch, because I think a lot of people would think of, say, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but then I don't think many people are gonna cite Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as like their favourite car ever. Certainly once you grow up, I don't see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang replicas that often, or anything like that. The Interceptor from Mad Max is pretty awesome. I guess, yeah, a Bond Aston, the DB5 is pretty cool. DB5's got to be up there, like, because I think actually maybe that should be the most iconic. See, now Herbie is a good shout, and I was thinking Herbie, I was thinking the Bullet Mustang, but let's be honest here, you think James Bond, Aston, that's you think Aston, you think James Bond, like that's that's kind of it. A Peugeot from Ronin. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's a yeah. Neil asked, do I have any interesting funny stories with cars? Yeah, all right. I was thinking of sharing this somehow, and I wasn't sure how, but I'll share it here. This is a story from about 10 years ago. There was a Porsche dealer, independent, not too far away from where I am, and I started working with them a little bit. Thanks Richard from Lap of the World, sent me $5. Thank you very much. That will buy me a McDonald's if they ever open again. I probably should buy myself something else, really, shouldn't I? And Richard, by the way, is the guy that has the 283,000 mile. I call it a Honda NSX, but I believe it's actually an Acura NSX, the old one. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so funny story. I was going to do some work for a Porsche dealer. I was pretty young. I was very, very early 20s. Went down there, had a chat with them, was trying to persuade them to do some videos. And at the time, nobody was doing videos on car sales websites. It was really, really unusual. And they kind of said, okay, let's try it. Let's experiment with it. And they just said to me, I was just down there, and they were like, hey, tell you what, why don't you come and help us? We'll put you on the have you got your driving license on you? Yeah, I do. Here it is. We'll put you on the insurance. Come with us. And they had to get a car back from a paint shop, which is about 6 miles down the road, down some little country lanes. So I go with them. We get this car. It's a 964. Never driven an old 911 at this point. I think I had driven one 911 on a track day. That was it. Never driven a 911. Didn't drive fancy cars, anything like that. I got in this car, drove it back, got a bit lost. Wasn't sure where I was. The roads started getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm just driving down the road in this little 964, kind of enjoying it. It was a sunny day. It was a bit like today. It was lovely. It was nice. I was in this beautiful car, but it was also like, I mean, back then it wasn't worth silly money, but it was worth 25 grand that I didn't have. So I was trying to really take good care of it. And this car starts coming the other way. I think it was only something small. I think it was like a Fiesta, but I was already like, this far away from the curb, and there was no way we were both getting past each other. Problem was with the 911, of course, the back slopes off quite dramatically. So there's no parking sensors on a 964. So you look over and you're like, I don't really know where the back of this car is. The mirrors weren't really set up very well. I had no idea where to go. Someone just mentioned Inspector Morse's Mark II Jaguar. I was actually trained by the man that shot several seasons of Inspector Morse. There you go. That's why people think I'm BBC. People think my stuff's BBC-like, with reason. Anyway, so I'm stuck in the middle of this road. There's a car looking at me. This guy and his lady in there, not very impressed with me at all. And I don't want to reverse because I'm a little bit worried. So I'm like, okay, how do I get out of this? I thought, right, I'm not going to try and style it out. I'm going to get out of the car and see how much room I've got behind me. Anyway, I get out of the car to walk around and see how far it is from the verge that I actually am. And the guy decides to just pretty much scrape past the car. He didn't hit it, but he was like that far off. And yeah, he called me pretty much every name under the sun. And because he thought, I'd bought this. He thought I bought this 911, and I was some young idiot that had no idea how to drive it. And I felt a little bit stupid that day. More suggestions here for iconic cars. You see, the thing is, there's some great suggestions here, including the Morse Jaguar. But the problem is, you go to someone in America, talk to them about James Bond, they'll say Aston Martin. But you say, Inspector Morse, and they'll have no idea who you are. The same goes for the Toyota GT86 from Initial D. There were loads and loads of people. Do I have a Never Met Your Hero story? Because I know Harry from Harry's Garage cited the Ferrari F40 as a Never Meet Your Heroes car, which I think surprised a few people. It didn't surprise others. I haven't done that. I suppose I should ask: were you thinking of a person or a car? Because I should probably. It's one of these things. Okay, here's an interesting question. Would I gamble on a 2018 McLaren 720S, which is currently on Collecting Cars, with a bid of £112,000? That's going to be good to watch, isn't it? That's going to be really good to watch, and see what that goes to. I think that could upset a lot of people because should we have a look? You guys are gonna have to give me 2 seconds here because I'm gonna have to blow my nose and I'm gonna do that off camera. But I'm gonna pull up. So let's all pull up the Collecting Cars website, shall we? Let's find the. I'm gonna find the link for this 720S, and we can all have a bit of a look at it and see what it's all about and see what we think. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to drop this link into the comments section now so we can all have a good look at it. And you're going to excuse me for just a second. Alright, okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look, shall we, at this 720S. So it's blue, Burton blue, which is a stunning colour. Okay, so the Collecting Cars website's quite nice. You got some good pictures on it. It's got it's got carbon fibre pack 1, so it came with, and 2 and 3. It's got stealth pack. It's got silver wheels. Silver wheels are a dying thing, aren't they? They really, really are. And I've done a really silly thing, which I've left my tissue over there, which is tragic. I'm very, very sorry to everybody that's being a bit weirded out, because this is the only problem with doing stuff live, is that when you're sort of dead and dying. Okay. Yeah, silver wheels on cars. Oh, it's got the orange interior. It's got the orange and black interior. One of the things I didn't like about the 720 was that you could never customize things. Peter said that owning a McLaren is like sponsoring a mountain gorilla. You're paying for something epic, but you're never going to see it. I think that's brilliant. So I still get a lot of views on the first video I made with my buddy and him and his dad, and them buying the pair of McLarens. And I still get the odd hilarious comment, and the best one recently, James McLeod, don't worry, late is better than not here at all. The best comment was McLaren and Sittner, a deal made in the devil's underpants, which had me up in absolute stitches. What's the thing? Well, I tell you, the question we started off with, James, was the £100,000 dream 3-car garage. What are your takes? Frank, have I ever rode any motorcycles? Yes, in fact, I did a recent video about the one motorcycle that I still technically own. I have been lucky to ride a few bikes in my time, including some very nice ones. I just don't really ever talk about it. The F12. The F12 is now quite cheap. Could I please review it? Yes, I will if I can. Just have a look at this. Oh, so okay, so this 720 has got 6 days to go, and it's £112,000. Currently being won by a man called Badger. Yeah, I know. So it's got, how many miles has it got on it? Let's see. I can't see this going for more than 140. At 5,000 miles, I just can't see it going for big money, and it's going to set a bit of a precedent. I think. I fear. So yeah. Yeah, I would definitely. So someone says, how do I handle negative comments? Negative comments are an interesting thing, because there is a lot, especially in the early days. You get a lot of negative comments in the videos, and often in those negative comments there is constructive criticism that you need to take on board. Often, say, if you do a video and you get 1,000 comments, and 200 of them are people telling you the video is too long, then maybe it's too long. If you the worst one is, of course, when you'll then get another 200 comments of people saying the video is too short. So you've then got to work out what the best thing to do is. Comments that are sort of like personal attacks, I tend to ignore. The only two ways really to get yourself banned off my comments section are to put something racist, xenophobic, homophobic, that kind of stuff on there, or you do get the odd person that puts a negative comment in one video and then they start posting the same comment in every single video that I've done. And if you want to say something bad in my videos, if you want to disagree with me, of course that's fantastic. Interaction is great, but please come up with something new to say on every single video. So I do try. Oh, Neil thinks this is the best live chat in the world. So thank you, thank you. Okay. Anyone fancy a whiskey? See, now Chris Harris likes his whiskey, but I'm teetotal. Yeah, I don't drink. Oh, okay, here's a good one. Nissan GTR or V8 R8 around 35k. And I guess you'd also have to look at, if you say 35k for those two, you've also got the potential Aston Martin Vantage or DB9, depending on your poison. Hi, Lewis. And you've also got then a 911, which I guess we'd be looking at something like a 997.2 now, really, or a very, very nice 997.1. The GTR, I really like the GTR. I really, really do. I think I would just about go for the R8 because the R8 has the feeling of something being a bit more special. The manual in that, which you would have to get, the manual is sensational. I mean, it's just brilliant. If you haven't tried an R8 with the manual in it, it is absolutely brilliant. And actually, the gearbox is probably better than a lot more of the Ferrari manuals that I've driven, which is, I know, sacrilegious to say, but there you go. Cayman 987 seems like a classic waiting to happen. Yes, I do agree. I very, very much agree. I actually have a real thing for the 987 Cayman because it actually looks distinctly different from the Boxster. The 981, the later cars, they do just look like the same car but coupe convertible, which I know is what Porsche want. But when the 987 came out, of course, it was a more expensive car than the Boxster, and it had distinct styling. So a 987 Cayman doesn't really look too much, certainly not from the side, like a Boxster, and I really, really like that. So yeah, best driving music apart from engine noise. So one thing I always used to do whenever I bought a new car was I would make a CD for that car. You know, I would burn a CD for it. Damien asked, what do I think about Supercar Driver? I have absolutely nothing against Supercar Driver. I don't tend to like anything that kind of calls itself Supercar something or other, because I always get a little bit of a whiff of elitism about it, and you always start getting into arguments of like what is and what isn't a supercar, because I have seen paddocks of Supercar Driver full of stuff that is not supercars. I also went to I was at a show a long time ago, and there was a stand. I can't remember if it was Supercar Driver, so I don't want to say that it was, but it was a supercar driving association of some sort, and they were the only stand that had all of the cars fenced off and nobody going near them. And to me, that's tragic. The absolute best part of taking a nice car to a car show is letting people sit in your car. That to me, I want to own another supercar, or I have never owned a supercar. I want to own a supercar. I want to own another really nice car, not just for me, but because I love seeing, how it improves other people's days. I love that. I think that's just I get something. I get something really tangible from making other people happy. Do I ever look at stuff like on Netflix? Yeah, me and my girlfriend watched Hyperdrive, which I was really reluctant to watch, and actually kind of wound up enjoying it. It was quite good fun. I also watched Fastest Car on there, and Netflix's Fastest Car. It's such an oddball series. Um, in that the people on it are amazing, the stories are brilliant. That's what I went there for, but they totally and completely misunderstood the point of a supercar. Some of the people were not the nicest people. They're a bit idiots. But yeah, there was a lot to like about the series. Some of the people had great stories, but yeah, they're reducing a story to how fast is a car? I don't know. I know the first series as well. They did a quarter-mile drag race on dirt. That's that's not great. Let's face it. Okay, let's have a look. So the Evora as supercar. Yeah, one of the reasons I got the supercar, the Evora, sorry, is that to me it gave me the supercar looks, the supercar noise, the supercar driving experience, the supercar reaction, all that kind of stuff, without it actually being a supercar. It didn't have supercar running costs because it was new, obviously. Because it was a new car. Anything that went wrong, which it did, got taken care of. I could have actually bought a Lamborghini or a Ferrari for the same price as my Evora, but at the time I knew that I wasn't going to be making any more money off YouTube for a while. So the idea of buying something like a Gallardo and then having got been given like a 20 grand bill for something, I couldn't have paid that. I just couldn't. So yeah, that kind of put me off. Talk amongst yourselves, which you're doing very well. Have I ever had beef with another automotive YouTuber? No, there are quite a lot of YouTubers who I don't like the way they do things, but I keep that to myself. Doesn't take a genius to guess who they might be. So I don't watch Chris Fix. I know of him. I don't watch it. One of the things I really, really don't have time to do is watch a lot of YouTube. As sad as that might be. There's one thing I've been able to do a lot more of during the lockdown. Favorite Group B car? Good question. Now, it has to be the 037. It just looks like something else, and it was a car created in the great spirit of Group B, really, which was just completely and totally bonkers. However, if I was going to own a Group B type car, it would be a Quattro. And actually, having spent some time thinking about it, ignoring the small fact that I don't have £500,000 to spunk on a car, I actually think the non-sport Quattro looks better. With the longer wheelbase, the shape works better. The sport Quattro just looks a little dinky and a little weird, and looks a bit like a sort of, a bubble car. But yeah. Okay, let's have a look what else we've got here. Am I replacing my BMW and Merc? Yeah, I will be, because I need I need to have a daily driver. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be cheaper than the combined price of them, because yes, some of the money from those cars is going on the Celica and the S2000 work, and I'm also trying to build up a little pot of money to hopefully originally this year buy into something special again. Brad says Celica GT4 or Quattro 20 valve turbo. Don't make me choose that. Don't make me choose. The noise the Quattro makes, the noise the 10 valve Quattro makes, is stunning. But the way the Celica handles is absolutely absolutely incredible. So what else we got in here? Oh, what did Tavares think when I turned up with a really burnt face? Yeah, I turned up at his dealership looking. It was this kind of colour. He laughed his ass off. He thought it was really funny, and I did not know. I did not know at that time. I had missed it because it wasn't on his channel. That he had done a similar journey in a in one of those things, a slingshot. Yeah, he'd done a journey in a slingshot and got soaked, which happened to me then on the way back. The video that I made, it doesn't really show you how bad the rain was. Stuart asked what would I choose for a 10 car dream garage. I actually did a video on that. Live stream number 1 was about that exact topic, so go and check that out. Do I think 944 turbo prices will continue to rise? No, I don't. I think they're going to start sliding back already. That's just that really. I have so Damon's asking about the Integrale. One of the cars I was supposed to be filming, which I'm not at the minute, is an Integrale Evo, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I have been warned by people that own or have owned an Integrale that you have to remember that it is ultimately a 25-year-old or 20-year-old, however old they are now, car. 35 years old, aren't they? Of course. They're not 20 years old. So yeah, you've got to remember that the performance of the car has to be seen through the lens of that. Julian wants to know why I feel that 944 prices will go back down. Because everybody remembers when you pick up a 944 for £1,000. Everybody remembers the Porsche Top Gear Special where they bought cars for £1,500. The 944 is one of those cars that has been dragged up. So there are certain cars in certain manufacturers' lineups which will always be the peak. So in Porsche terms, that was always the 1973 2.7 RS. In Ferrari terms, that will be stuff like their F40. For more ordinary stuff, the 355, and so on. So when prices generally start going up, you get these sort of halo cars. So let me take a receipt. So you've got the price of your halo car kind of in the middle, and as the halo car gets dragged up, so a 355 is always worth twice as much as a 348. Well, when the 355 prices go up, you get all these people that go, oh, I really wanted a 355 and I can't afford one now. What's the next best thing? And they'll go for other stuff. And the 944, I think, is that. I really like the 944. Really enjoy it. I really want to get one on the channel. But I have driven them. I mean, I was offered a really nice one for £700 like 10 years ago. Thoughts on the R32 GTR? I will tell you when I have driven one. I've never really been a huge fan of the looks of them. It's always been the R34 was always the looker to me. Have I driven the Lotus Elan, the She Turbo, which I think you mean SE? Yes, I have. I did a video on it. I wasn't quite happy with the video. It never got released, and the late Elan, the modern front-wheel drive Elan, has been something that I've always wanted to do on the channel. It's a great car, criminally underrated, very cheap way into a Lotus, and actually has a hell of a lot going for it. Really exciting car, really much better than the sum of its parts. Probably one of the best developed Lotus cars ever. I mean, the amount of money they spent on that thing was utterly huge. Let me see. A favourite gen of Elise? That's a good question. Not the first. Sacrilege, but I am not that keen on the looks of the first gen Elites, although they do drive absolutely spectacularly. I really like the looks of the second and third gen. I love my 111R, but if I'm being perfectly honest with myself, it wasn't a great car when you weren't caning it. Probably even worse than the S2000 in some ways, because S2000 is a little bit softer and everything. So actually, I really like the third gen, the more modern Elise. Yes, it's still bigger and heavier than the old ones, but 900 kilos is still not especially heavy. Certainly not in the modern world. So yeah, Julian asks, the new TVR will never come out. It's a pipe dream. Do you agree? I think with every passing day, I did a video on the subject, and I mean, 3 months ago or whenever it was, I was starting to get a bit worried that TVR were just already gone and they were kind of hoping nobody had noticed. And I don't think any of the stuff going on at the minute can have helped at all. A 1990s Mini Cooper's a good buy now. Got a video coming out on that topic, or on a Mini Cooper anyway, a 2000 actually. So I think they might be a good thing to buy. Yeah, they're cool cars. So Ollie says he knows I'm a fellow rock fan. Have I got a favourite band? Do I like the Darkness? Yes, I do like the Darkness, actually. The Darkness are a bit of a laugh. It's nice to have an on-car question. I have been to very, very few live gigs in my lifetime. The first was Motorhead, which was introduced by Gene Simmons from Kiss, because he was doing a series called Rock School, I believe, and it was like the final episode. They got these kids and taught them how to be rock musicians, and their reward was opening for Motorhead. So I saw that. I was very, very lucky to see them. I saw Thunder, who are a great, really underrated band. I saw Tenacious D. They were awesome. I have seen Iron Maiden. I love the band. Didn't love the set that they played. I'm trying to remember. It was one that they played like a whole album, and I didn't really like the album, which was kind of a bugger. I have also seen Motley Crue for what was supposed to be, and whether it is or not, I don't know. It was supposed to be their last ever show in Europe, and Motley Crue were amazing. And the best thing about seeing Motley Crue, their opening act, the support act for Motley Crue, was Alice Cooper. I could have gone home after Alice Cooper, very, very happy. And as it happened, I then got 2 epic gigs. I also did Whitesnake and Def Leppard with Black Star Riders as the openers there. Most unusual car I have driven. Model T? I mean, in terms of the driving mechanics of it, it's the only time I've ever got in a car and been like, I got nothing. I got nothing. How is the Sleeker coming along? Well, the Sleeker was always going to be a long project, which has now got longer because the guy that's working on it is kind of doing it in his spare time, and he can't even get to where the car is. I think nothing's happened to it at the minute. He took it away from me, as a favour to me to get me some space back on the driveway because I was getting really properly upset looking at it. What do I think of the Alfa Romeo Mito? I actually also filmed a Mito video, and I had some sound issues halfway through. So that review is actually on my Patreon, which incidentally I'm amazed. I actually stopped pushing the Patreon a couple of months ago, or a month or so ago, because with everything going on, I didn't really want to kind of like have the begging bowl out, because everyone's struggling at the minute, and I've had more people sign up to my Patreon in the last few weeks than I ever did. I'm amazed at that. I get like $200 a month from the Patreon, and actually at the minute it makes a really big difference. Do I think the 3S GTE, which is the engine in the MR2 Turbo in the Celica GT4, is one of the best 2-litre turbocharged engines ever made? No. No, I don't. It's a good engine. It's a decent engine, but I think the Subaru 4 is far more characterful, and interesting and exciting. So yeah. Okay, so here's an interesting one. Let's dabble with politics, shall we? Mark asks, "Do I think the UK government plan to include hybrids in their ban of petrols and diesels is sensible or credible?" Because so the UK government, for those that don't know, they had this plan that by 2035 they were going to ban the sales of petrol or diesel cars, but hybrids were going to be allowed to continue, which was annoying, but ultimately I think was okay because, let's face it, most cars by then I could easily see them having some token level of hybridization, and then they changed their mind and said, you know what, no, even hybrids banned by 2035, full electric. And honestly, I can't see it happening. I just cannot see them being able to do that. I really can't. Julian also asks again, do I think Porsche will bring the six-cylinder to the rest of the range? I hope they do. I think they've realised that the four-cylinder has only limited appeal. I mean, because they do a four-cylinder Macan, obviously with a very different engine. Robler, how much did I hate the Nissan Leaf? I didn't hate the Nissan Leaf at all. I really liked driving it, which is what made it so painful, that there were so many things wrong with it. The interior was like completely all over the show, and you know, that was sad. And it was the range that annoyed me the most, not because it was short, but because you would charge it, you would get in it, and it would tell you that you had 200 miles to go, and then 150 miles later it would be empty. Oh, Peter sent me some more money. Thank you, Peter. That's very kind. If you have a question you want to attach to that, please send one over, and I shall do my best. Oh, Brian asked, what was it like owning a Brera? I'm looking forward to when I get let out reviewing a Brera again, because to me it's one of the most painfully close to brilliant cars Alfa Romeo ever made. Beautiful looking. Drove really nicely once it was sorted. It was alright fast. It wasn't super quick. Stupidly heavy car. I made it out of girders and lead weights, I think. There must be a load of anvils in the chassis of that car somewhere. And the Breras, I mean, the interior of the Brera was beautiful, stunning, one of my favourite interiors. But yeah, there's no room in the back of it. None. If I had my driver's seat in the position I wanted it to, I was touching the back seat. I was touching the seat behind. So I spent a load of money fixing the car up, and I had to go for that simple reason. It was just totally impractical. Joseph asks, he says he's looking for an MP4 12C. Best way to get a warranty. If you're in the UK, Thorny Motorsport. That's the way I do it. They do it sort of like Hartech do in the Porsche world. They'll inspect the car thoroughly, look for all the sort of typical problem things, and if the car gets their approval, you can get a warranty on it. My buddy, who had the red one that was on the channel, he has a warranty with Thorny. They're really, really good guys. They know the cars inside out. Or you could buy a car from McLaren used, but I think you're probably going to pay a little bit too much for that. So I would go the Thorny route. Get the car inspected before you buy it. Basically, if you're looking at buying from a private or an independent garage that's not a McLaren dealer, then they shouldn't oppose you sending the car to be inspected, because it's only going to do them a favour. If you don't buy the car and the car was good, then they've then got a report sheet saying, hey, the car's great. So okay, let's have a look here. Did I hear about the bloke on the radio complaining about why can cars go faster than 70? No, I didn't, but yeah, every time I do a video on a Ferrari, a McLaren, something like that, there's always somebody that says, in a country with speed limits of 70 in traffic, why do you need a car with 700 horsepower? Like, it's fun. It seems like something that's never occurred to people. Shay pointed out that Alphas are good as the electrics are not the best. So my Brera one of its quirks was that to get the driver's side window to go down, you had to press the button really hard, and then to get it to go up, you had to press it down, but less hard. Don't pull it up; nothing will happen. So it's the same direction, but it's silly. And I remember I went out to it one day, and it was kind of cold. And I opened the door, and the entire door seal was still attached to the body. It wasn't on the door anymore. Dan asks, have I taken a car to Santa Pod? Yes. Yes, I took my Evora to Santa Pod with my buddy Steve, who had a C63, the 6.2 AMG at the time, and we were basically neck and neck, 12.9 seconds at 107 mile an hour, almost 104, something like that. Fastest I've ever driven, 174 mile an hour. The fastest I've driven completely verified was 172. I did that in the Lotus on one of the sort of airfield days. 2010 CC3 daily, is the ride acceptable? Yeah, it's very, very good. Jerry's £30,000 XK or F Type, and why? If you want the more classic Jaguar experience, XK, I think they feel a bit more luxurious. I prefer the styling. For 30 grand, you're going to get a really, really nice late XK. The F-Type, if you want to drive hard, you want to drive a sporty car, F-Type, because it is quicker. Wayne's just signed up on my Patreon. Thank you very much. I must say, I mean, I don't do these live streams with the aim of making money out of them. I just do them to keep entertained and sort of hope to keep everybody, occupied in these strange and interesting times. So the donations are quite amazing. I don't even know how the super chat thing actually works, because I don't really watch other live streams. I'm so terrible. Thoughts on the Fiat Panda, 100 horsepower? Don't know. A lot of people keep asking me about it. I might be able to review one at some point in time, again when we get out of lockdown. But it is related to the Fiat 500, I'm pretty sure, and that is a car that I definitely don't like. Would I ever be tempted to own another E46 M3? No. But if somebody offered me my old E46 330ci Club Sport back, especially because the last time it was up for sale, I think it was up for sale for less than 3,000 quid with 190 something thousand miles on it. Yeah, I would have that car back. I got fond memories of that car. That was one of the best cars I ever owned. Shay asked, any thoughts on my Saab 9.3? Yes, did a whole review. On a Saab 9.3 because I owned one. Very heavily modified thing. Could I do a collaboration with the car guys? Yes, I probably could. And they know where to find me. You'll have to excuse me ducking out. I'm not doing... I hate having hay fever. Fun story. I only got it when I was 23, and which is the same age my father got it. And apparently, the good news is it's going to go when I'm 57. So I got that going for me, which is nice. JayEmm on shirts, yeah. This masterpiece came from Miami. The trip where I did the NSX review, the new accurate NSX review. The Never Meet Heroes car. I didn't give an answer to that. I didn't give an answer to that. I'm worried. I haven't driven one, but I'm worried about the Diablo, Lamborghini Diablo. Which is nice, is a line off the Fast Show. So I'm glad someone appreciates that. Clivey Boy asks about a 30k Evora or Exige. So particularly with regards to the Evora, everyone will tell you like buy a late post 2012 one, whatever, yada yada yada. I drove loads of early Evoras, and the one thing that I learned is that you have to pretty much ignore the buying guides. They are all very individual. Gear shift, say, is a known Evora weakness, early ones in particular. And some of them were brilliant, some of them were tragic. There was no real rhyme nor reason for which one was which. Amzok. So funnily enough, he said I should have had a 159. I should have had a 159 instead of the Brera. I was stupid. 159s were still silly money. There were some cool looking cars, funnily enough, I was talking with a lady about 159 today. She used to have one, and she loved it, and had it for a year, and then the subframe rusted through at the front, which is a very well-known problem. Sorry about that, everyone. Have I ever driven a C5 Z06 Corvette? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm not quoting somebody. I've started a thing about mentioning the Fast Show. I grew up in the 90s. It's all Fast Show and everything. It's an interesting thought with quarantine still going on. Could I do a list of beginner and new drivers' cars? I could look at that, I suppose. The problem is, because it's been so long since I've been a new driver, I don't really know what's important anymore, because the things that were important, say, when I passed my test, aren't quite so important now. And I suspect a lot of people that are driving cars now are more interested in sort of saving the planet. They probably value Apple CarPlay and Android Auto over certain things. Okay, so Shay's brought up a very interesting car. Shay's brought up a really, really unusual car. The Citroen C5. You know what? He says, is it very German? It is very German in its styling, isn't it? I really wanted... I really, really wanted a Citroen C5 at a number of points in time. I considered one as my very first car, but I couldn't afford one of the modern shape that I wanted. Lovely styled things. They ride quite nicely. Selection of engines is awful. Interiors are usually awful, because unfortunately a lot of the people that buy them are the sort of people that couldn't afford a BM, and so they get fabric interiors, and they look kind of cheap and nasty, which is a shame, because there were some really cool cars with some really nice specs out there, but they always seemed a little bit too expensive. They always just seemed, I always remember them. I mean, they're probably not at all anymore, but I always remember them being about $8,000 or so. Which sounded better, the V10 or the V12 F1 engines? So, okay, fun story. I'm not really big into F1 anymore, but I attended in my lifetime 2 Formula 1 races, and actually I'll regale you all as you're being superstar. Have we got 200 people? Well, 200 people. I tell you what, 200 people, and I will regale you all with a couple of F1 stories. Okay, how about that? No, I haven't driven a Metro Turbo. I attended 2 Formula 1 races. The first, I believe, was in 1995. I was very young. I only remember it. I only could date it because Johnny Herbert won the race. The other F1 race that I attended was the year that Michael Schumacher crashed badly and broke both his legs. And I was a big Schumacher fan. When I went there, I still remember when I was young, Schumacher changing from the blue car to the red car, and I always thought that was really weird. I always remember when they replayed. I wasn't at the corner where he went in. I think it was a few corners before. They replayed on the big screens him going into the barriers, and I remember that everyone cheering. And that was a nasty crash. That was a really nasty crash, and they all cheered. And I was really upset about that. I was really, really upset about that. And yeah, I wasn't happy. And the mood turned quickly because everyone realised that it was quite serious. But I'll give you all, as there's 200 of you watching now, which is amazing. A fun F1 story. It's not from me. It's actually from my mother, and I was going to share this on the channel at some point. I'm just not sure how to share it, so I'll share it with you, and you tell me what you think. So many moons ago, probably about the same sort of time, so tail end of the 1990s, my parents got invited out through various things to go out to watch the Formula One in Portugal. And they went out there. Basically, they bagsied some Ferrari VIP passes. So they went out there and they went and watched the Formula One because, late 90s, the Formula One was obviously very, very big. My parents, big Damon Hill fans. Pretty sure he was driving for Jordan at that point in time. Or BAR. One of those. Anyway, I really can't remember. And I wasn't there. So they went out. My mum went out and wanted to get Damon Hill's signature. Because they had the VIP passes, they could get into some of the areas where the regular punters couldn't. So Mum went out hunting for Damon Hill to get his autograph. Bearing in mind as well, they're in Portugal, so there weren't really that many British fans out there. It wouldn't be like it would be at Silverstone. So they went out there, and Mum found Damon Hill. She went up to him. She was sat there, autograph book in hand, nice and quietly. Damon Hill's chatting with this other guy, and Mum asked for his autograph, and he just turned and told her that he was busy. And then this voice from behind her said, "Oh, would you like me to sign your autograph book?" Sorry. And my mother turned around, and there is Michael Schumacher. And she said, "Oh yes, that'd be fantastic. My son's a really big fan of yours." So she got Schumacher to sign this autograph book. And she chatted with him for a couple of minutes, and apparently he was very personable. And this was a great shock to my mother because late 90s British F1 fans, Michael Schumacher, he's the devil, right? So Mum's chatting to this guy, and then Schumacher says, "I'm really, really sorry, but I've got to go and do a talk over at with the Ferrari guys." This was on practice day. So we got to go and I got to go and do this talk. And Mum said, "Oh, as it happens, I've got the passes for the VIP thing, so I'll go over that way with you." So they go over there. Cut to my dad is in the bar of the Ferrari VIP area, and having drinks with a couple of guys. And the door opens, and there is Michael Schumacher holding the door open for my mother, having a chat with each other. And these two guys could not work out who the hell my dad was, because they thought they was best friends of Schumacher, because there he is talking with my mum and everything, and that they came home thinking that Michael Schumacher was fabulous. Okay, so back to the questions. There you go. Hope you enjoyed my little F1 diatribe. If I had to choose one, Jaguar V6 S Coupe F-Type or Porsche Cayman S981, Cayman. Has anybody heard of the Audi Q7 V12 TDI? I have, and I did a video on it, so go check that out. Do I think McLaren will ever lend me a car for review? It's unlikely. It's unlikely. Ever driven, reviewed, or owned a VW Corrado? No, I haven't. Another car I'd really, really love to drive. Unfortunately, VW's heritage fleet is nowhere near as good as Audi's. Audi's is really excellent. One of the best I've heard of, let alone seen. Best bargain I ever bought. And then my 1 Series. The 1 Series was fabulous. I shouldn't have sold it. I shouldn't have sold it. Yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Ooh, crikey. Here's M140i BM versus Golf 7.5R versus facelift RS3 versus A45 facelift. For me, it would be between the Golf or the M140i. The Golf is a very good, fun, solid, dependable car, but not the most exciting. The M140i is a bit rough around the edges. The on the limit. It's a little bit sketchy, but very, very nice thing. Did a little review with one a little while ago. Any chance of a Maserati Gran Turismo review? I would love to do a review of the Gran Turismo. I did get in touch with Maserati themselves about doing a Gran Turismo review. I mean, they never got back to me, but the Gran Turismo was actually then officially discontinued about a month later, so I don't think they'd have had one to give me. Anyway, advice on finance: is Lotus a safe bet if you plan to keep a car? I'm not a financial advisor. I have to say that. But Lotus typically don't depreciate very quickly. So if you're looking to try and get a car, I would never, ever recommend buying a car as an investment. But if you're looking for a relatively safe place to put your money, you could do a lot worse than the Lotus. Are any other companies letting me loose with their classic fleet? Honda let me loose with their extraordinarily nice 2005 NSX. Best sounding car that I've ever owned. It's either the Evora or the M3 E92 supercharged V8 M3. Do I think there'll be bargains because of the coronavirus? Yes, I do, but I suspect those bargains will only happen after lockdown lifts and everyone realises that no, things aren't just going to carry on as they were. Certainly not in terms of the car market, certainly not in terms of the high-end car market. What was my first car? It was a 2005 Peugeot 407 SW HDI 1.6, which, was not the sexiest thing for a young, 19-year-old man to have, but it did me very, very well. 3k budget for a daily driver, what would I buy? Actually, first thing that's come to my head, Alfa Romeo 147. If you can find a nice one in good condition, really, really like those. The best car I didn't buy. Ooh, that is a really okay. When I bought the Evora, there were a lot of other cars that I shortlisted that I could have bought, that I could have afforded, and the one that would have made the most sense financially to have bought was there was an R34 Skyline GTR Mines for sale. Legit Mines that was the same money as the Evora. Could have bought that, probably would have made 100 grand on it. Didn't, bought the Lotus. Okay, what car do I most regret selling? Probably the 130i, to be honest. Is there a comparison site for classic car insurance? Well, I think the regular comparison websites. Been asked a couple of times, do I have access to a BAC mono for a test drive? I don't know. I'd need to ask BAC, but again, that's another thing that's kind of a friend of mine managed to bag a test drive with one. Roger Bailey, who's got a little YouTube channel. Would the car guys let me test a car from their stable? You would have to ask them. But maybe. E46 M3 versus E92. Honestly, E92. Yeah. I got burned. Got burned bad with my E46. That really. I still got the head gasket. The head gasket is framed. Would you like to see the head gasket? Have I ever had any incidents with the police? Yeah, I tell you what. One of the most recent times that I got pulled over by the police was they thought that my girlfriend of the time, my girlfriend of the time apparently looked like a kidnap victim. Got pulled over in London by an unmarked car, and they completely ignored me. Went straight to the passenger side, looked at her, looked at me. Said, is this your other half? I said yes. They said okay. They asked for her ID, not mine. Never asked me anything. Yeah, then show me a picture, and legit, this picture looked exactly like my girlfriend at the time, and it was obviously a missing person. So yeah, there we go. I looked like a kidnapper. Okay, all right. You guys stay there. You guys stay there. I'm going to get a piece of art off my wall. I don't think my mechanic believed me, but with all the trouble I had with my M3, I said, please do me a favour, keep the head gasket, I'm going to frame it. And he looked at me a bit strange, and I said, if I'm spending £1,000 on the bastard, I'm going to frame it, and it's going to go on my wall. There we are. I framed a head gasket. There we go. I don't know if you can read the what it says on the bottom, but yeah, there we go. How's that for? I'll make that the thumbnail for the replay. So yeah, that is on my wall. And actually, as you're probably all interested, I can get the camera to focus. So you probably see right about there. That is the failure point. Harry enjoyed my McLaren video and asked if I can make a similar one for Ferrari. Actually, no, I quite like Ferrari for various reasons. Not just because they're giving me a car. They are announcing models all the time, but they're also quite sensible. And there is a reason. There is a reason that a lot of their residuals are quite horrendous, which is that they are trying to protect their customers. So if the residuals are bad, then the idea is that you'll always kind of have money in the car. Versus McLaren, who then made the residuals far too high, which makes the car cheaper to buy technically up until the point you come to sell it, and then you realise that actually you still owe loads and loads of money. Smart motorways, not so smart. Do I agree? Yes, I do agree. They are a stupid idea. Absolutely stupid idea. Any good recommendations for a quick large saloon under 10k? E55 AMG would be quite cool. That's what I go for. What plans have I got for after lockdown finishes? This list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 30 something names of people and businesses that I need to get in touch with and film. It's as simple as that. I am going to be filming like an absolute madman. Yeah. Yeah. Have I done any Nürburgring trips or plan to? Okay, I will. I'll give you all one last story, and then we probably need to sort of wrap up. Any plans to borrow Bell and Colville's +4, which I presume mean the new +4, because I did do a video with their old +4. I had been watching, and you'll be able to date this. I had been watching Top Gear, as everybody did, and out came the episodes with Sabine, with the Jag, and then the van. So me and my mate, we decided we got to go to Germany. I'd already been to the Nürburgring as part of a German exchange program years ago, so I knew where it was, and I thought, right, let's make a plan. We bought a ticket, or I got bought as a present, a ticket for the ring taxi, which was like €180 or so. Um, and we made this plan. We thought in a day we can fly out to Germany, go to the ring, have a ring taxi thing, and back. Because if you fly out to Cologne, Bonn, it's not really that far from the ring. Get a taxi from the airport to the ring and back. Done. No problem. Easy, right? A couple of things went wrong. First off, the day before, some grade A Wallies had tried to blow up a plane with some liquids. So it was the very, very first day of the new restrictions with transporting liquids, and at the time it was only in the UK. So for those that know Stansted Airport, we turned up at Stansted Airport, and the queue for security went all the way from security to the front of the airport and all the way down the doors of the airport. And at that point we thought, we're done for. We are screwed. We're never getting there and back in a day. But my mate had thought that it would be sensible to bring a Zippo lighter with him. Like he thought he'd get that on the plane anyway. So we had to store his lighter, which cost something like 30 quid. Wow. Majestic, my thoughts about picking up an Abarth 124 Spider with a carbon hardtop. I am going to defer, and you need to speak to my friend Steph at Steph ABTV. The 124 is a really nice car, and I liked it more than I thought I would, but I'd always feel like I possibly should have bought an MX-5 instead. That being said, I would get the Abarth, and I would try and get one without the black bonnet. Then they do look better. The looks are growing on me, so I hope that answers your question, and thank you very much for your kind donation. So, my mate has to book in his lighter at the little place you can leave stuff at Stansted for £30 to hold onto a lighter for a day. We get on the plane. That's fine. We managed to do that, which was a miracle. We get to Germany. We get in the taxi. Now, I made a mistake because the only time I'd ever been to the ring before, we had been to where the museum and all that was. So I just thought, you know what? Let's get dropped off there. That must be where the ring taxi stuff happens, right? Wrong. We got dropped off there, and then I went into the reception there, and they were like, oh, no, your ring taxi is obviously where all of the tourist laps go from. It's miles. It's at a different part of the circuit. Which, if it's a different part of Silverstone, it's already a long walk. Different part of the Nürburgring is like, shit. So, we start walking down the road. We've been pointed vaguely where we need to go. Bear in mind, this is 14, 15 years ago. No smartphones, nothing. So we start walking down the road. We head in, and we come to a junction. And we don't know where we're going to go. We don't know, do we go left? Do we go right? Do we go left? Do we go right? I have no idea. Then this GT3 comes past. Then this other GT3 comes past. Then I think a Ferrari 360 comes past. Then another GT3. Then another GT3. We're like, let's follow those. So we walk down the road. We go there. We find a big car park. We went into the office where the ring taxi is. And we got in there. We're in time. Great. Got about half an hour to spare. We sell the spare seat because it's €180. But that gives you all 3 seats in the car. Back then it was the V10 M5, and there was only 2 of us. So we sold. There's people just wait there for a spare seat. So we sold our seat for €60 because it seemed fair to me, to a Swiss guy who was incredibly grateful that we weren't going to rinse him for €100 or whatever. And so we get there, and then I said to them, like, so who's our driver? Who's our driver? And they're like, it's Sabine. We're like, what? Oh my god! Sabine! Brilliant! So, one of the reasons I'm really not fussed about taking my own car around the Nürburgring is that when I was 16 years old, I went round in the passenger seat with Sabine driving a V10 M5. And I'm just not sure that's a memory I'm going to top. That was pretty damn fun. But things didn't end there. We had our lap. I got her to sign a shirt of mine. It was great because she was starting to become a celebrity then, because obviously all the British people knew who she was, but all the others just had no idea. They had no idea at all. So she always found it entertaining when she got the British people in. So that was great. That was really cool. She was really nice. Yes, it was fast. No, I didn't grab the Jesus handle, but she was following a 911, can't remember which gen, GT3 RS. We're in an M5 with 4 people in it, and she got bored of following the Porsche, so just decided to start drifting instead to keep us occupied. Woman knows how to drive. She really knows how to drive. So we then decide, okay, let's head back. And remember what I said about the liquids? Well, at this point in time, the liquid restriction was only really one way. It was heading out from the UK. There were no restrictions yet in the rest of Europe. So I had a big backpack, big camera backpack, kind of similar to the one that I have now, and it was empty with the express intention of buying a whole bunch of beer. So we're in Cologne, actually we're in Bonn rather, and the local brew, the Cologne stuff, is called Kirsch. It's this sort of specific local beer that they do. So we bought like about 12 bottles of this stuff. We're walking back through the airport, and my bag, I'm going through like this. And my mate's kind of worried. And we get to security, feed the bag into the X-ray machine, and the security guard gets my bag, grabs it, and he looks at me and he's like, "Your bag?" Like, mm. And I spoke a little bit of German back then. And he looks in the bag. He opens the bag up. He looks at it and he pulls. And I'll tell this to you in German, because I think most of you'll be able to get the gist of what he was saying. So he prizes this beer from my jam-packed backpack and goes, "Ah, lokal, gut." Zip, hands me the bag back. My mate turns to me and goes, "What's he said? What's he said?" I'm like, "It's okay. We've bought the right beer. We'll be fine." So I was probably one of the last people to stick a whole bunch of booze in their backpack coming home from Europe. So yeah, that was yeah. So that was the story of my my time over at the ring. So I'll go through a few more questions and things, because we may as well. Yeah, I will do the ring at some point. I will. I promise. I want to be in the right mindset. I want to be in the right car. I want to do things properly. It's gonna take some money. I'm gonna want that aside. I'd really like to actually just go there and watch a race, watch the VLN or something like that. H. Ross says things that I very much says my stuff is good. Thank you very much. It's very kind, of course. And what are my thoughts on the Mini Clubman? It's an alright car, I guess. If you need a slightly bigger Mini, it's about the only sort of non-regular Mini that I actually that I like. All the others are a little bit yeah, a little bit rubbish. So yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. Have I got any plans to do more track day stuff? So some of you know I have a business that does track days and trips and things. Honestly, no, I won't be doing any more of that. I was, just before things went wrong, I was talking to somebody about taking the business over, because the simple fact is that YouTube takes up so much of my time. I just haven't. I just haven't been able to do that. Here's an interesting one. Would I consider doing a live type vlog with subscribers in the audience? So I guess you're thinking, Top Gear studio style, Supercars of London picking up a car type thing. It just seems a bit awkward to me. I'm not sure how much I now want people to know where I am. That is always a concern that I sort of get now the channel's getting bigger. And also, I don't know, I mean, the thing is, when I get new cars on the channel in particular, I tend just to spring them on the channel. I sort of prefer doing it that way. I don't tend to do the whole my my next car thing. Matt, please send me an email. Please send me an email about that. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Yeah, so I mean, as well, like, I mean, how heartbreaking would it be as well if I said, here, big subscriber, do come here, and there's like 3 of us. That would be really awkward, wouldn't it? So it'd be like, yeah. Jason Trevor should say a big shout out to you. 108,000 miles on your Evora and still loving it. Do I miss mine? Yes, I do. Damien, £5. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Cheers. I'm not going to drink this one. I mean, I think you shouldn't drink it. Dispense 2 large pea-sized amounts onto the dry hands. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, sub £5,000 summer drive, Z3 TT or a supercharged Mini. Not the TT. Not £5,000. Probably the Z3. A nice 2.8 Z3 would be really nice. Favourite track in the UK? Ooh. I do usually quote Donington. Definitely not Silverstone. Definitely not Silverstone. I don't like Silverstone as a track. MX5, yeah, will be a good shout. Do you reckon you could daily an S3 Elise? No. Simple as that. I'm always... Every time I say that in a video that it's not a very good daily, some psychopath always comes along and tells me that they've dailied theirs for the last 10 years. And it's like... Great! I mean, it's like someone, coming out of the desert and saying, I've, been surviving on just, beetles and toenails for the last decade. And you're like, well, just because you've done it doesn't mean it's a good idea. How much of an angle see your Rockingham? No, I haven't. I do want to do more UK tracks. I was doing that when I had the M3. But again, the problem with track days, very expensive. Don't get that much money in from YouTube, or didn't get much money in from YouTube. And then time is a problem. Time is a really big problem. Track days are money out. I'm trying to get money in. Yeah, simple as that, really. So yeah, there we go, everyone. It's been it's been about an hour and a half. So I want to thank every single one of you for joining in for the conversation. Super big thank you to everybody that's donated. That's really unbelievably kind, and a constant surprise. I'm very, very grateful. Yeah, it's super nice of you all. I will be doing, I think, the same thing, same time next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all for joining. Think some questions for next time, and we'll have a good chat then. Hope this is all worked, and this is a completely new setup. I had to borrow a setup from someone to roast my car station. Actually, tell you what, something I'm going to look into. For putting in the live stream next week is a way of you sending me content. Don't know how that's going to work yet, but hopefully by next week I'm going to have a way that you can send me pictures and things, and we can talk through stuff live. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you for your company. Thank you very much for your generous donations and for your time. Stay safe, stay happy, healthy, and as and when you can, I hope everyone can get back out, enjoy their cars, because I can't wait either. But in the meantime, really appreciate all of you watching the content. Thanks very much. Good night.